This playlist will gather together the modules of the lecture covering our second reading material in the second week of the Intro to Philosophy class, the article entitled Logical Toolkit. Most of the content of this lecture will be about the concepts and terminology that are presented in the paper itself. I'll expand a little bit here and there, but for the most part, I'll stick to their script emphasizing the things that they talk about. So we'll start off by talking about philosophy and giving reasons as the general framework within which we'll be understanding the various concepts and ideas relating to giving reasons that the authors talk about. Our first set of concepts will be the concept of an argument and of logic, the science or study of arguments. Then we'll turn to specifically what are called fallacies or bad arguments, and I'll differentiate formal from informal fallacies and talk about the fallacies, both formal and informal, that the authors present for us. The next set of concepts that we'll look at are concepts having to do with what are called modal claims or modalities, and they are claims about the truth or falsity of statements that go beyond just their actual truth or falsity, but their potential truth or falsity in different ways than what could be. And we'll focus specifically on necessity and sufficiency. Then we'll contrast those with the concepts of necessary and contingent truths. And then finally, we'll finish with a discussion of the distinction between a priori and a posteriori. And these are modalities having to do with how we come to know or how we can potentially come to know something. So we'll start now with this first topic. Perry and his co-authors begin the article by saying philosophy is very much about asking questions, because not everyone is going to agree on the correct answers to these questions. It's extremely important to give reasons why you think one answer is better than another. So when we talked about both the Russell and the Perry article on the nature of philosophy, I suggested that they seem to agree on this idea that philosophy is a conscious and deliberate attempt to both rationally evaluate and rationally craft your worldview, your sense of who you are, what society is, the nature of the universe, and how you fit into society and society fits into the universe. So philosophy is very much about asking fundamental questions about the reasons why we hold the most basic assumptions that we have about the nature of ourselves, of society, of the universe, or even of things like practices. Why do we engage in practices in the way that we do? Why is it thought that this is a good way to do something, as opposed to this is not a good way to do something? And so when you ask those questions, when you're looking for a comprehensive, consistent, and systematic set of answers to questions like that, you really want to focus on the reasons why you accept the things that you do and the reasons why you reject the things that you do not accept, and understand the strength of those reasons and the limitations of those reasons. And part of the way you can do that is by looking at arguments for and against particular views, for and against particular values, for and against particular ways of conceptualizing the world. And so the authors in this particular article are going to be focusing on that particular mechanism of systematically understanding and evaluating the reasons that you have for the components of your worldview.